You want to wash your bike, but you live in an apartment or a flat and you don't have access to a hose or a garden where you can do it. How do you wash it? How do you clean your bike? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how. In fact, I'm going to show you a number of ways you can do it. But before I do, if you appreciate our content and would like to support the channel, you can do by clicking subscribe and the notification bell. Firstly, no matter where you clean your bike, you're going to need some tools. These are the tools I'd recommend. Some degreaser, a couple of sponges, and a coarse brush. The following tools are highly useful, but not essential. Some specific bike cleaner, you can just use washing up liquid, a chain cleaning device, and some specialist brushes. First up, you can use your shower. Just make sure that the other people that live in your flat never, ever find out about it. Now, I recommend that you move other objects out the area, anything that you don't want to get dirty, and that includes your nice, white, pristine towels. And if you've got a shower that closes in, then that's a bit better because it helps contain any spray or dirt that comes off the bike. Now, one advantage of actually doing it in a shower or bath is you can use warm water, and warm water is better at cleaning, and that's because when you're washing something you want dirt to dissolve within the water, and as temperature increases so does solvation. Science. But just don't use boiling water. I'd never recommend you ever use boiling water on your bike, it might damage it. Don't forget to take anything off your bike that you don't want to get too wet through, so take my Wahoo off, water bottle, saddlebag if I had one on there. Now, I appreciate that my bike isn't actually that dirty right now, so you're going to have to use your imagination and imagine that it's absolutely filthy. Now, a good way to do it is to stand your bike up in such a way that the dirtiest part of the bike isn't going to be washing dirt over the rest of the bike. So a bit like I've done here. The dirtiest part of the bike is the drivetrain and the cassette usually, so all the oil and dirt that comes off there is going to drip nicely into the plug hole down there, not over the rest of the bike when I start washing it. So first up, I'm just going to rinse the whole frame. So rinse the bike first and then use a sponge and some soapy water, either with the dedicated bike cleaner or just normal dish soap. Lather it on, but don't wash it off yet. With the soapy bike cleaner on the rest of the frame, you're then going to take some bike degreaser and apply that to the chain and sprockets. It's useful if you turn the cranks as you apply degreaser, as it helps get some of the degreaser on all the chain links. Then take your brush and work the degreaser with the oil and dirt to loosen it. Pay attention to both sides of the drivetrain and also the jockey wheels. You often get lots of thick gunk accumulating here. Then take your shower head and rinse off the soapy foam and degreaser. Again, it works well if you turn the cranks as you do this, but don't blast high pressure water on sensitive areas too much, like the bearings and the hubs. Now, this is good for a quick clean, but for a more thorough clean, you'd want to do things like take your wheels out, because dirt loves to hide in places that you can't reach with the wheels in. Also, I've degreased the chain once, which is good, but it never gets it fully clean. To get it fully clean, you'll want to do it at least 2 to 3 times. Now, at this point, I'd say dry your bike off with some old cloths or an old towel, and then apply some WD-40 to expel water from little recesses and areas where you don't want any rust, such as in the brake calipers is a classic place. But don't put WD-40 on your chain, Simon Richardson. WD-40, Simon Richardson, is not chain lube. Sometimes your bike is so dirty, you don't even want to take it inside your flat. Maybe you've done a cross race, or maybe you're just really, really dirty. Anyhow, you've got a couple of options. First up is the good old petrol station, or gas station if you're American, although technically what's being sold is in liquid form. It's not gas. Anyway, most petrol stations have jet wash facilities. Now, these are used for washing cars, but they're also excellent at washing bikes. Name drop alert, I actually got this idea from none other than Nico Roche, who I bumped into while cruising around the streets of Monaco, and he was going to do this exact thing at a petrol station to his bike. There you go. Anyway, I'd recommend that you bring along your own brush and degreaser and apply some of that before you use the jet wash. And again, you're gonna have to use your imagination. My bike's even cleaner now than it was before, having just cleaned it in the shower. So imagine that it's really, really dirty right now. These jet washers can be really powerful. I mean, they're designed for cars. So before you destroy your bike with it, either select one of the lighter settings. If there's like a rinse setting, that's normally fine, or just stand further back so that it's not as powerful. For those of you who are worried about the thought of jet washing the bearings on your bike and damaging them and washing the grease out, we wouldn't recommend that you directly jet wash the bearings. Just jet wash around them. And bear in mind that pro mechanics routinely do use jet washers to clean the bikes day in, day out. And we've also shown in our own experiments that bearings stand up remarkably well, surprisingly so, to jet washing. And I mean, well, look at that. Isn't she a beauty now she's been cleaned? Even cleaner. Could eat your dinner off that. But what if you don't want to use a jet wash, or perhaps you don't have access to one? Well, there's a third way. You can take it outside. Now, to do this, you're going to need the following items. A couple of buckets, one with clear water, one with soapy water. You can use washing up liquid or car shampoo or something similar. Then you're going to need your degreaser and a brush. Now, I know my bike isn't dirty now. I've cleaned it twice, but you're just going to have to use your imagination. Imagine it's absolutely filthy. Now we're going to begin by applying degreaser to the drivetrain and chain and using the brush to work the dirt and loosen it. Then while that's getting to work, use the sponge and soapy water on the rest of the bike. When the sponge is out of suds, rinse it in the clean water and then add more suds in the soapy bucket. This stops you putting dirt back on your bike. Once it's lathered up, rinse the bike and the drivetrain by pouring the remaining clean soapy water on the bike. Then refill one of the buckets with clean water and rinse any remaining soap off the bike by just pouring it on. After this, simply get a towel or a cloth and dry the bike. Once your bike and chain is dry, don't forget to apply some chain lube. Now, this third method isn't as effective at cleaning as the other two, but it's still much better than the alternative of just leaving your bike all horrible and dirty. So I hope you found this video useful, and if you have, then please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to head over to the GCN shop. We've got the finest t-shirts available to humanity and loads of other goodies available there. And if you'd like to watch another video on bike maintenance and how to look after your bike, click down here.